Shalom. Apostle Talk coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Rakakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, Are You Ready for the Microchip? And I know this sounds like here we go again with another Mark of the Beast video, but I had to do this because I based on the new information about YouTube to December 10th wanting to take down videos that are not economically viable, which includes us, because there's no commercials on our page, and they're dealing with pages that get hundreds and thousands and millions of hits, because money could be made. If you got 1 million people watching one video, you throw commercials in between that, man, that's like regular TV. Anyway, if we get 1,000 hits, 3,000-4,000 hits, we consider that a lot. 500 hits. Anyway, that came. I was thinking about this in the whole December 10th thing, and they definitely gonna start hacking away at these YouTube pages. Now, I thought about this Mark of the Beast microchip thing, and how us here at Great Millstone, starting with the Apostles on down, we pushed out a lot of videos. We did a couple of we did a documentary on it. We did like a sit down on it. When we used to do the shows in the studio, and we did a sit down on it where we went into the book that one of the brothers put together, but it was our information that he and information from other books dealing with the Mark of the Beast, the microchip. So we did a video on it. And when you go back to the beginning, when you go back, 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, we started pushing the Mark of the Beast being a microchip a lot. And you had opposing camps do counter videos when we put up anything dealing with the Mark of the Beast being a chip. And they would say the Mark of the Beast is not the chip, it's an embargo, it's the Roman Catholic Church, it's Christianity, it's this, it's that, it's the other. But in recent years, let's say 2016, 2017, 2018, and now we're in 2019, we're less than a month away before 2020, and in my opinion, I believe they're really going to start really focusing on pushing this chip. Because remember, the elite have an agenda. An agenda is you have a plan to do something. And whether it's going to take a year, 6 months, 10 years, 100 years. And they have the pinnacle of what they're about. The end goal, which is the agenda, coming to fruition. So they have to push that chip. They have it in their mind. They want to push it. The technology is here. The only thing that's left is putting it all into place. But they also have to consider that you have on YouTube, you have us, Great Millstone, which by far have pushed the Mark of the Beast more than any Israelite group out there, by far. You still on the earth, we up in up on Mars some goddamn where. So when they actually make this chip mandatory, and they go to have people set up chipping stations, and what they'll do is they'll do it in groups, and in classes. The military, They have to get the chip, in case they get lost in the field. We can find you. It's always a safety thing. They started with the dogs. Put chips in your pet. If the pet runs away, you can find the pet because it's a chip in the pet. Or if somebody kidnaps the pet, or pet naps the pet, we can find it. You have chips, low jack in your car when somebody stole you. Remember that low jack? That was basically the chipping system in your car. So if somebody stole your car, you can track where the car was. And now you have this device that you put on maybe your cell phone and your keys, and it's a tracking device where when you lose your keys or your cell phone, you put that tracking device on there. It'll beep and it'll tell you exactly where your phone is. There's tracking devices in phones. If you steal a phone, they can track exactly where you are. So the technology is already there. It's a matter of putting it all in place, and it's going to be put in place because this is part of Esau's agenda, which is really a part of the Most High's agenda, because the Most High spoke about this mark of the beast, which is the microchip. He gave it to John the Revelator in a vision, and he wrote it down. And John actually saw people lining up, or however the way they do. Well, they do line was this club in Spain, the Baja Beach Club, and that came out back in I think before we even got on YouTube, or just when we got on YouTube, where this guy in Spain owned a bar, club, Baja Beach Club, and they actually had a chipping station. If you put in microchip Baja Beach Club, you'll get that. And I have the image in my computer, and you'll see this, I think, a blonde head girl getting her arm scanned, and I think it's a left arm, because in Europe they do it on the left hand side. They drive on the right hand side, so everything's like we do everything based upon the right hand. In Europe they do everything based upon the left hand or the left side. Now if they did it at the Baja Beach Club and they did it at certain other places and experimented with it, what they'll do is they'll have the military, like the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, whatever. In other words, if you want to be a part of the armed forces, you have to get this chip, and it's for your safety. So, and basically people in the military, they follow orders. That's what they're trained to do, follow orders. Then to eventually go to people that receive food stamps, Section 8, welfare, WIC, the WIC program. You want to get free stuff for your babies, you gotta get you gotta have the WIC program. And ultimately they're gonna say there's too much fraud in the welfare system, so now we got to chip everybody. And if you go to any welfare office, let's say in New York City or any state, I know in New York City there's certain areas where you have a welfare office, and you'll see, mostly the black woman and Latin women. You don't see too many men. You'll see men doing it too, but the majority of the people, 9 out of 10, you're gonna see women of a certain age at the welfare spot. Their man might drop them off and pick them up or whatever, but that's what you see. So they're getting those benefits. They're getting that check, whether it's a Social Security check, welfare check. Then the apartment is Section 8. Then they got WIC for the babies. And a lot of these dudes, they deal with women and keep the women happy because they got a roof. This dude got a roof over his head, and he can eat, sugar frosted flakes in the morning with wick milk, and them shit, that big family size box, or that industrial size box of sugar frosted flakes. You know, that's from the EBT card, the food stamp card. The cable that you're watching, you watching a game or whatever. Well, that was paid for by her getting a welfare check. So is she gonna turn down the chip? Hell no. She wants to keep getting them benefits, so she gonna go ahead and take that chip. Go ahead and take that chip. And the reason why I'm speaking about this, because earlier today I was going, not even a half an hour, I was going back and forth with this guy, Black Opulence, which I know exactly who he is. And he's been saying I've been running, and Elder Marshall is ashamed of you, and Yaquab is ashamed of you because you running, because vocab is coming for your ass. Look, hey, if vocab's going to be somewhere, we're not going to be there. Okay? Now, if vocab happens to find out where we're at and roll up, we'll deal with them, but it's going to be a complete waste of time. Just like G-Man. I put up a video a couple of weeks ago, which goes back a couple of years, 2017, where G-Man rolled up on the 34th Street camp, and it was nothing but pandemonium. Hell, the cops had to come and kick them bugged out fucking Christians off the block. And then that demon came back. He's a special kind of demon. He's a special kind of demon, man. He's got masses of demons. He's got 2 legions of demons, which is about 14,000 demons on him. Vocab has a certain amount of demons on him. And them people that follow vocab, they all got demons on. In other words, they're infested with demons in their mind. Because when you go to break down something, they can't see it. They see what they want to see. So at this point in the game, we're not trying to be macho men. We're basically trying to push this word out to the elect. Our focus is on the elect. We got YouTube right now. YouTube had opened the doors up for us to get this word out to the entire planet, man. This gospel shall be preached or published throughout the whole earth, and then shall the end come. So we did that because the Most High had to seal his elect. So it says here, so like I said, the way they're going to push the chip, and I said this a bunch of times, is by way of classes. They're going to do it to the military. They're going to do it to, if you want to be a nurse, continue to be a nurse. You did all that studying to become a nurse, a registered nurse, a RN, a LPN. What is that? Licensed practical nurse, a nurse's assistant. Nurses, RNs, they get paid damn good money. And then you have doctors. Doctors are for the most part, if you go to a major medical center, the doctors are part of the system, and they get paid. They get a salary from the hospital. So in order for them to get their salary, they're gonna have to take that chip. And how many of them know Revelation 13 verse 15 on down to 17 or down to 18? How many really know that? Even the Christians, they're gonna have them pastors. I already see that they're gonna get to the pastors, and the way the pastors gonna get their blind followers is Romans, Romans the 13th chapter, the first 2 verses. Obey the government. The Most High set up the government, and the government says do this. So if you disobey the government, you're disobeying the Most High. And you're gonna have a lot of these people in the churches that can't spell Bible. They're gonna take that chip because they think they're doing the will of the Most High. This is all psychological, man. Now this guy, Black Opulence, I kept asking him a question about the mark of the beast. He had another avatar, Fat Joe and Pookie, and I kept asking him, what about the mark of the beast? What does that mean? And he would ignore it. And then I came out and said, you know what the mark of the beast is. See, he can't admit it. See, these camps that been challenging us, Great Millstone, about the mark of the beast being a microchip, that is something else. When they set up them chipping stations and they make it mandatory, a lot of those people that follow you guys, some of them gonna just follow you blindly. They just dummies, zombies. And some are gonna say, well, wait a minute, man, that might be the chip. And there's gonna be more Edomite Christians that know that the mark of the beast is a chip than you jakes that know that you're Israelites, man. But if you're part of the elect, you're not going to be deceived. Matthew 24. If it was possible, they would deceive the very elect. Anyway, let me read this article. And we already know the scriptures. I might do a quick go through the scriptures. But another reason why they want to take down certain people in YouTube, mainly the Israelites, mainly GMS, we're on the top of the list. Yeah, they got that pyramid, we're on the top. GMS is on the top of the list. That's why they got a movie out called St. Paul, which they wanted to put it out as Asher, the movie Asher, with this guy Danny Glover and Mekhi Phifer, about Israelite group that want to blow up something. Which what they're doing is basically, that's Hollywood job to demonize us. What they're doing with the Israelites now, what they've been doing is demonizing us, saying that we're a hate group. We're not a hate group. We're a truth group. We're telling our people who they are. Like the DNA, 23andMe or whatever DNA company. When people go and sign up for their DNA, what do they want to know? They want to know truth. They don't want to do it because they hate other people. They want to know who they were. So we're in a time of telling people who they really are. Now some are going to accept it and some are not going to accept it. Well, we're not going to bend over backwards for the ones that don't accept it. We're going to move. We're in that mode where we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. Like Yaquab said, if an end can't get it, we moving on. Elder Abba said, if somebody can't get it, he said, just forget him. Just forget him. And that's true. Just forget him. If you tell somebody something, you see they can't get it, just forget him. Anyway, this is an article that was put up November 8th of this year. So we're talking, 3.5 weeks ago. It says, the rise of microchipping. Are we ready for technology to get under the skin? It says that the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. The children of light are the Israelites. So you got the children of this world, which are the Edomites, the wicked. They're wiser than you because they know things. You know how many Edomites out there know that the mark of the beast is a microchip? In the Bible Belt down south, these different religious groups, among these different born-againers, grape juice drinking born-againers, a lot of them know that the mark of the beast is the microchip. So when they go to really push this chip, there's going to be a big uproar as to this thing that you're going to take is the mark of the beast. So I believe another major reason why they want to take us off of YouTube, because they're gonna introduce that chip to you, man. And they don't need no interference from GMS or any Edomites telling you that don't take it, because it's gonna cause an uproar. See, we found, hey brother, this was a blessing, or brothers and sisters, this was a blessing. YouTube was a blessing to us. And we jumped on it. We saw the blessing and we jumped on it. Anyway, it says responding to new technologies and an and in an emotional or psychological way is unavoidable. Emotional meaning, I can't wait to get it. Because, hey, Kanye West, I believe they're setting him up. I mean, I can't prove that. They're going to set him up to have a lot of Jake in the Christian community take that chip. Because Kanye West going to take it. Kanye West and his wife and his children. And so they figure, well, if Kanye can do it, you know, we can do it too. Because the Lord is working with Kanye. Anyway, it says you're going to have entertainers. You're going to get the right people to take that chip, to make the masses take that chip, want to take that chip. And that's called the herd mentality. I spoke about that in another video, previous video that I did. The herd mentality. Look that up. Because the majority of the people around the world have what's called a herd mentality. It's just like the cut up pants. You see somebody walking down the street 20 years ago with cut up pants, you're going to look at him like he's homeless. Now that's a fashion. There was one brother that had some cut up pants. I said, look, brother, in GMS, I said, look, brother, don't be wearing them fucking cut up pants. The scriptures say, love not the world. Somebody cut up their pants, you're going to cut up your pants. But that's that herd mentality. It says responding to new technologies in an emotional or psychological way is unavoidable, because it's going to hit you right in the face. You're going to be confronted with it, whether you're going to take it or whether you're going to not take it. Particularly when body modification is involved. When that chip is put in you, your body's going to change. Because now you're basically a freaking smartphone with legs and arms. It says as implants grow more common, experts fear surveillance and exploitation of workers. Advocates say the concerns are irrational. On August 1st, 2017, workers at the Three Square Market, a Wisconsin-based company specializing in vending machines, lined up in the office cafeteria to be implanted with microchips, one after the other. And that's not the whole crew that worked there, but I believe it was 2/3, 75%, whatever, that lined up, and there was some that said, no, I'm not with that. Whether they got fired, whether they quit, whether they got phased out, whether they got laid off and never called back, or whether they went ahead and said, you know what, let me go ahead and take this chip because life is so much easier. It said they held out a hand to a local tattoo artist who pushed a rice grain size implant into the flesh between the thumb and the forefinger. The 41 employees who opted, because not all of them opted for it, into the procedure received complimentary t-shirts that read, "I got chipped." And guess what? They got chipped and they getting ready to get dipped. Outside joke. It says this wholesale implant event organized by company management dovetails with the Three Square Market's long-term vision of cashless payment. So they had a vision for people, if you go to a vending machine, to not use $1 or a quarter or 50 cents, but to use maybe your smartphone, and you get your Snickers bar, your Kit Kat. Well, then they go a step further with the chip. It's a payment system for their vending machines. Workplace snacks purchased with a flick of the wrist. That's for anyone that has a chip. And the televised chipping party proved to be a savvy marketing tactic, the story picked up by media, out like media didn't know, this is no. The elite got it all. They said, okay, bring the media in now. They all work together. Okay, so by the media outlets, from Moscow to Sydney. We're talking global. What does a company, a small food vending company, have to do with Moscow and Sydney? Because they want to make it global. Go back and read Revelation 13. You can start at the 16, 17 verse. And cause all to receive a mark on their right hand, on their forehead, and no one can buy or sell, least he that have the mark. And the word mark is charagma. It's the charagma is an actual right size device that they're going to put in your skin, and they're going to use a delivery system, which is the that needle. And that's and that goes back to Karax. Karax is a palisade. A palisade is a plank of like a dowel of wood that's kind of cut into a stake, and that's how you made fences in the old world. You would take a dowel or a long piece of wood and you would kind of cut it. It's the same thing with Dracula. You use a stake, which is a something that you impaled his heart. A fictitious story, and but you had to cut it at a certain angle so it would become a palisade, which the Greek word is karax, and that and the needle is shaped like that. The karax is the delivery system. The charagma is the actual chip. It says, but not all of the attention was positive. After the event, comments on Three Square Market Facebook page urged employees to quit. The company's Google reviews page was inundated with 1-star ratings. In other words, there's people that don't like it, but what they have to do is, let me go back up here. They have to get the people's minds right. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, right under the picture that you see of the guy with the chip in his between his thumb and his forefinger, he's holding it up for the world to see. It says, responding to new technology in an emotional or psychological way is unavoidable. So people on Facebook and these people responding, they got emotional about it. Nah, quit the job, man. Nah, F that. Let me see where did I leave off. Okay, it says the company's Google reviews page was inundated with 1-star ratings, meaning they wasn't with it. And Christian groups, we're talking about Edomites now. That's why I said the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. The children of light are the Israelites. The children of this world, the Edomites, they're like, nah, we ain't taking that chip. That's the mark of the beast. But here you got Jakes that know that the Israelites are saying that's not the mark of the beast. That's not the microchip. It says, in Christian groups convinced that the implants fulfill an end of days prophecy where people are branded with the mark of the beast. So now you got these Israelite groups that are against us saying, well, you got that from the white man. The white man taught you that. Look, I've been knowing about the chip since the goddamn 70s, my man. Since like the mid 70s. I was always into the scriptures. It says accused. Oh, you got it from Alex Jones, man. Alex Jones. I was teaching this before Alex Jones was even thought of, man. I'm older than Alex Jones. Accused of the company. Well, Alex Jones pretty much woke up in the 90s. He tells you that. He woke up in the 90s, early 90s. I've been knew about this. Well, I had the book. I introduced the book Satan's Angel Exposed to the school, and there was a Bible bookstore up the street, and everybody went up there and got that book. And in that book, it tells you about the mark of the beast. So I was up on things, man. Y'all are Johnny come latelys. It says convinced, or the Christian groups convinced that and that's where the most hell is going to come. That's where the most riots, the most protests is going to come from these Edomites, man. Because they're going to say, no, don't take that chip. It's the mark of the beast. And meanwhile, you're gonna have these Israelite groups bugging the hell out, man. You're gonna be thinking about your camp leader, and you're gonna be thinking about GMS. Or GMS is gonna be well talked about. GMS is gonna be well talked about, and you're gonna look to find where our camp is, and you ain't gonna know where the hell we gonna be, because we gonna be moving and jumping over here and jumping over there, man. Our focus is on the elect, man. Some Jake that's a Buddhist want to debate. I want to debate you on Buddhist. I believe. Look, brother, we ain't gonna deal with you, all right? See, they don't want to deal with me because they really don't know the truth. Buddhist is the way. Good. You go ahead with your Buddhist ass and you take that chip too. It says because Buddhists can take chips too. It says a days of prophecy where people are branded with the mark of the beast, which they're right. These Christians, the Edomite Christians, are absolutely correct. Accused, that's why I said, thou art wiser than Daniel. There's nothing that they can hide from thee. So Esau is up on game. It says accuse the company of being the Antichrist. Or the anti-type. Inside joke. Well, first of all, a company can't be the Antichrist, and a man can't be the Antichrist. When you go to the scripture, you look up Antichrist, it says there shall be many Antichrists. It says in 1 John 4, it speaks about the spirit of Antichrist. It says, let me get ready to close this. What I'll do is I'll leave this article in the description box, and you can read the rest of it. It says Johan Osterlund, a Swedish tattooist and body piercing specialist whose company Biohacks provided the and bio mean body, hacks when you I guess it's for hacking something. So body hack, in other words, they're gonna put a chip in you. It says 3 square market with the provided 3 square market with the microchips. Watch with interest. And there's a video. All you got to do is put in Johan Osterlund microchip, and you get a whole bunch of videos of him actually chipping the people. Okay, let me jump past that to 3 square market was a test case or test run, the first company in the US to offer implants. And when they do this thing, they do it as a test to see how people react to employees on a public stage. But the highly charged reaction, which linked the devices not only to the pernicious surveillance, but to a vision of tech apocalypse, raised a question that Osterlund is still grappling with. Is the world ready for the technology to get under the skin? Let me read on. As a microchip implants are essentially cylindrical barcodes that, when scanned, transmit a unique signal through a layer of skin. Mostly they have been used to organize products or warehouses or identifying livestock and stray pets, because they started with stray pets. The big thing was back in the 80s, get your dog and your cat chipped. Though there has been some human experimentation. Right, the first family, what was the name? There was a so-called Jewish family from Boca Raton. I believe it was the Jacobson family. And the little boy was the mother, the father, and the boy. And he was about 12. He died. He died in a motorcycle accident. Anyway, I'm just kind of picking through this article. It says it was like my body was online. He said it was my very own Johnny Mnemonic moment. Obviously, that's a quote. So they're going to keep putting. Yeah, I read where it says the ones that received the chip at the 3 Square Market, they received a free T-shirt saying "I got chipped." You know, and you can see the. Okay, it said world's lamest cyborg. My microchip isn't cool now, but it could be the future. You see the Edomite woman with the blue T-shirt saying "I got chipped," and that's the only way you can get that T-shirt is "I got chipped." And you see this guy Osterlin chipping somebody, another Edomite. You know, these progressive Edomites. You know, college bound, educated, not Christians. Anyway, with that, I'm just going to close with I'm just going to give you a list of scriptures. I'm not even going to read them. Okay, what is this? That's not it. That's not it. That's not what I want. Anyway, by heart, Revelation 13, verse 16 to 17. Actually, you can read from verse 15 to 18. Revelation 14, verse 9 on down, and that tells you what the Most High is going to do if you do accept the chip. Revelation 15, you can read verses 1 and 2, maybe 3. Revelation 16, verses, you start the top, read the first 2 or 3 verses. Revelation 19, if I remember, it says you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. Anybody that takes a chip, you can check it for yourself. Revelation 20, verse 4 tells you that the men of the Lord and gave the testimony of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, they're going to refuse to take the mark of the beast, or refuse to bow down to the mark of the beast and take that chip. So you know, there you have it. I threw a bunch of scriptures out that we always go through, and you should know these scriptures by heart. But this is, like I said, I came to do this video because I was going back and forth with Black Opulence, which, you know, he's an Israelite, and I kept asking him the same question about the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast in Revelation 13, verse 17? And I think a couple of times I said Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17, and he would avoid the question, which makes me think that you know, he teaches something other than what we teach here at Great Millstone. But maybe in the back of his mind, I don't know, man, the microchip might be the mark of the beast. But you just can't come out and tell your congregation, yeah, the mark of the beast, the microchip, because you're going to have contention, because you're going to have people that's going to say, nope, it's the embargo, it's Christianity, it's the nations, it's companies, it's corporations. And then you're going to have some that's going to take to the fact that, yes, the mark of the beast, it does make sense with all these articles and these videos, and the fact that Great Millstone is always putting up videos on it. So you're going to have a split there, man. And if it doesn't happen now, guaranteed, when they start putting them chipping stations up, and they make it mandatory, and you might not take it, but your wife might take it, because you want to get WIC and food stamps, and you might be at a particular job where you need the chip. So that's going to cause a big uproar among Jake, because Esau could take it. Esau could take 20 chips. Doesn't matter, they're going to die anyway. What if they say, well, look, the scripture said the mark of the beast is a chip, and if you take it, you're going to be destroyed. I'm not going to take it. Well, guess what? If you're Edomite, you fucking chip. You spiritually chipped. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, and it's on to the next one. Shalom.